Hello everybody, welcome to my book review. Today we're going to chat about Hunger by Roxane Gay. I know I'm very late to the party on this one. I know many of you have read it and talked about it and have been very affected by it. And I've been so keen to read it, but just, my to be read pile is so big. But anyway, I'm so glad I finally read Hunger by Roxane Gay, and I just flew through this book in a matter of hours. It was everything I'd hoped it to be. It is a very powerful personal account of Roxane's own battle with food and her own challenges and her own issues of being a woman in a fat body, being a fat woman, and how she feels and how society responds to her. This is it's very brave writing, but it's also incredibly insightful, because this talks about not just the personal, but also the political, because a woman's body is never just personal. Everything about it is political. And if you are a fat black woman, as Roxane defines herself, then that is even more problematic, and the public judgment of all that comes with it only seeks to exacerbate the situation more. In this, Roxane separates her life between the before and after. The before, when she was a happy, healthy young child growing up in the States. An incident when she was 12 years old, an event where she talks incredibly honestly and openly about being raped when she was 12 by who she thought was someone who was a friend of hers. And then she talks about how this single incident transformed the way she thought about herself, and that her crutch, her only outlet for all this self-loathing and issues and fear and shame, was to become food. And through consuming food, almost deliberately, to the point where she would use it to want to become fat in order to sort of push men away, to push people away, to make herself bigger, to make herself stronger so that no one could hurt her. How that food addiction, that spiral, has not only given her issues for herself, but also has invited judgment from the public and from the wider public, both in the media and as she goes about her daily life. Now, I'm also overweight, probably fat. Yes, I should not be ashamed in saying that. I am fat. However, I don't have the single incident, the traumatic event that Roxane did in her life that was the trigger for all of this. And I think that's important to share, because yes, Roxane talks incredibly openly and bravely, but there's so much here in this book that resonates, particularly when she talks about how, as a fat person, she can't be seen to eat junk food in public, which I thought was such an extraordinary observation, because you can't. Thin people can eat packets of crisps. Fat people can't. Thin people can eat burgers and chips in public. Fat people can't, because it's inviting shame. And she talks about her body being a public space, an object that's open for judgment and insults, but also in the subtle things about not being able to go about her daily life in restaurants or in planes or in any kind of public seating where you are deliberately made to feel awkward for having a big body. This book is about 80 chapters. Don't fear. The chapters are remarkably short, maybe only 2 or 3 pages per chapter. So you do fly through it. It is very much sometimes a series of anecdotes, but they are all profoundly insightful. And I found this very life reaffirming, because Roxane doesn't pretend to have all the answers for you. And Dr. Roxane Gay is obviously incredibly clever and incredibly smart. And what I really liked about that is she was saying, I know all of this. I can tell you about the beauty myth. I'm not an idiot. I know what's the misogyny in society and the institutionalized sexism, but that doesn't make me feel any better. And I think for any of us who are battling with issues of self-esteem or how we feel about our body, there is a lot of comfort and a lot of community to be taken from this book. And I can only applaud Roxane for being so open about what must have been such a very difficult subject matter. And she writes so eloquently, and it is heartwarming. It's heartbreaking, but you take such strength and you wish nothing but good luck and best wishes for Roxane. It's a very, I wouldn't say life reaffirming, but you do feel like you have support, and there is a wonderful sense of community in this book, because, like I say, even though Roxane's individual event was traumatic and awful, there is much here that we can learn about our bodies, our relationship with our bodies, and how we feel about being in our bodies in wider society. This is a terrific book. Hunger, Roxane Gay.